how to begin with this story. Vin Diesel apparently debuted his first song to his new album. That's right, Vin Diesel, the dude from Fast and the Furious films, the guy who plays Groot, the big bald guy, Mr. Clean with a Tan, is singing.
Heartbeat. Looking for a heartbeat.
He released his new single called Feel Like I Do.
Oh, God.
On a,
If he's singing into a guitar, then I might listen to this. He can't be any worse than Peter Frampton.
well,
It's called seriously Smurf Peter Frampton. Anyway.
he signs a deal with a Norwegian music producer called Kago.
I can't say anything because, you know, Hasselhoff did the same thing.
I
in
know, that's
Germany.
what I was thinking. I was like, Hasselhoff
Still
did it,
can't
so
sing
I can't.
worth a lick, but boy, he's big in Germany.
Yeah, they
He
love
was.
him, so. But he debuted his song on the Kelly Clarkson show, and I had no idea. Vin Diesel is 53 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Well,
That's what happens when you actually take care of yourself.
I guess.
This is what happens when you don't take care of yourself,
Yeah.
okay? This right here, yeah.
Not
All
good.
this sexy right here, whatever this is, yeah.
It's not pleasant, but yeah. Good for you, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Like I said, when you actually take care of yourself, hey.
He'll do the soundtrack to the Fast Furious movies.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What else you got?
Let's see here. Disney Plus, again, Disney Plus, is thinking about doing a Nick Fury TV show with Samuel L. Jackson.
That mother smurfer. That Smurfer's going to wind up on Disney Plus. He'll, to be honest, Nick Fury doesn't cuss that much.
No, well, I mean,
Not,
again, it's
not, in
Disney.
not in the
so-
Marvel movies. He has not. Every once in a while he'll drop one, but it's usually something well deserved. But he has not been as foul-mouthed as Nick Fury, I think, and I think he does that on purpose because he doesn't want to overshadow the character. That was one of those things where it was a race lift that took. Because to be honest, oh boy, to be honest. Getting back to Hasselhoff. You remember Hasselhoff played Nick Fury.
Yeah, and
He looked a lot more like the old Nick Fury than Samuel L. Jackson did. Now they've gotten to the point in the comic books where Nick Fury looks like Samuel L. Jackson. So that was a race lift that took, and I actually, that was one of those where, yeah, that was a good call because Samuel L. Jackson does make a good Nick Fury, except in Miss Marvel. That was stupid. But the whole movie was stupid there. I'm sorry to bring you down because you're all happy and stuff, but Samuel L. Jackson, if it's going to be on Disney Plus, then absolutely,
and you know what?
It's not going to be so much of a Smurf problem, but it's.
You know what? That's what.
If it turns up on their Hulu, though, if it turns up on the Hulu Plus side, all the bets are off, buddy.
See, now when we was watching that darn Captain Marvel movie, I even said there is something not right about Nick Fury because he was like an ass in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was a total ass. I was like, he's never been like that in all the other movies. Why is he being such a
Which one, Captain
a
Marvel?
Smurf to Why is he being such a Smurf to
Because
Peter
he
Parker?
had a penis. So he had to be in. It was Mary Sue the movie. Is
Oh,
what
not
it
Peter,
was.
not Captain Marvel.
He did come off like a goof in Captain Marvel, though.
Well, yeah.
Which movie?
Yeah,
You'll think.
it's-
You'll think about it about 2 minutes after we finish recording.
But anyway, yeah. So that's happening.
Heartbeat. Anyway.
And another thing, the only good thing that we've been waiting for, like, I don't know, a year. Has it been a year since Disney Plus started? Almost a year.
Pretty much, yeah.
Finally, we get to see a trailer for one of their promised shows, WandaVision.
That could be that is a show with so much promise, and I don't know if they're actually going to carry through with it or not.
I hope so.
Because Marvel has completely shut down over Rona Mania. Because no projects getting done.
I
They've
mean,
got a few in the pipeline, but they're having to work on piecemeal and stuff. WandaVision,
Sure.
for those of you who didn't see, in the case of Vision, for those of you who haven't seen any Marvel films, but for Wanda, if you haven't seen the Avengers, Wanda can actually affect reality with her so-called hex power.
she's the most powerful one of them all.
And Vision is a virtual is an artificial intelligence virtual reality thing. It exists because it wants to exist. So it's like an AI that can actually project itself into the real world. How those two are going to get along and actually how in the world they wound up in a relationship is going to be the focus of the first season, I'm sure.
Especially when they died.
Yeah. They got better.
Well, Wanda
it's
came
comics.
back,
It's
but-
comics, guys. Of course they get better. But
I mean,
that one should, like I said, it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be interesting to see what the creators do with it. If they take it seriously and look at the real storytelling possibilities, you've got stories for days on that in that thing. But if you're going to treat it as one of these Marvel toss-offs, or you, God forbid, you treat Wanda like a Mary Sue, or you treat Vision like a Marty Sue for that matter, then this is going to get painful very, very quickly. Now wait, who's the other one? It's Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
right? That's the one I'm actually kind of looking forward
they've
to.
already released photos, but not a trailer or anything. So, I mean, these are shows that we were promised. And Loki. And there was something else. But we were all promised this before Disney Plus launched their thing. And then, so we get Disney Plus, and it's like, they haven't even started on any of these things yet. So it's like the only thing we had was Mandalorian, which we're not fussing about Mandalorian. It was good. But it's like,
You can tell season 2's about to hit too, because there's Baby Yoda stuff everywhere. Disney let you can tell how much respect the Disney suits have for Jon Favreau, but they held off on season 1 of The Mandalorian because either that or they weren't aware there was a Baby Yoda in it, because they would have been creaming themselves to market that, to merchandise the heck out of Baby Yoda.
yes.
So now for season 2, Baby Yoda is frickin' everywhere. It's going to be the big thing for Christmas, I'm sure. I still want to get a Baby Yoda poppet just so I can play Stormtrooper. But you got any other news items?
Yes, one last story. Switching over to DC, James Gunn, who has done the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, is working on the sequel to
James Gunn is a good storyteller.
Suicide Squad, is now going to take a series to HBO Max using the Peacemaker, with John Cena, who's playing the Peacemaker in the sequel of Suicide Squad.
John Cena has been a goody-goody his entire WWE career, I should say. He's been the goody-goody. He's been the guy. This is not a joke. The man would go out at least every other week to grant a dying kid's Make-A-Wish. He did like 500 Make-A-Wishes over his entire career. Okay, he's a really good guy.
Good.
I'm a Jim Cornette guy. I'm with the cult of Cornette. Jim Cornette hates everybody in pro wrestling except John Cena. He respects the heck out of John Cena, which that alone, if Satan's sitting there giving you a hand for how good you are, that shows how good you are. But he's played a goody-goody for so long, and from what I'm hearing, John Cena has chewed up so much scenery on the Suicide Squad set as the Peacemaker. Peacemaker is one of these old, late 60s, early 70s Charlton Comics characters. His superpower is he has 2 guns. He can shoot them both at the same time. That's his superpower. He has 2 guns, he can shoot them both. And he's got this goofy-looking helmet. But that's his superpower. He can shoot 2 guns at the same time, and he really hates criminals. So Peacemaker's whole idea is imagine Punisher in Dayglow colors, and you've got Peacemaker.
Oh, wow.
Okay, And as a matter of fact, I would not be overly surprised. Jerry Conway wound up in the news this past week, and I'll explain that in a second. Jerry Conway was the creator of Punisher. Him and Ross Andrew came up with the idea. I believe it was Ross Andrew did the art on it. But I bet you money if you held Jerry Conway down and threatened to spit in his face if he didn't talk, he will admit there was some Peacemaker involved in the creation of Punisher. Because Punisher came along in Spider-Man about 73, 74, somebody correct me on it. But I'll bet you money Peacemaker came first. And DC now owns all the Charlton characters, so... But yeah, apparently John Cena was chewing up the scenery all over Suicide Squad. And considering, is Will Smith still involved in this one?
No, he was only in
the first one.
In the first one, Idris Elba took his spot, but he's not playing Deadshot. He's playing somebody who's literally the same thing as Deadshot, except a different name. Well,
I'm trying to think who else is.
It's like literally the exact same character.
It's not
just
Bullseye because that's Marvel's version of Deadshot. But anyway.
But yeah, anyway. Idris Elba took that part.
Either way, Idris Elba's involved. But yeah, it's going to be fun seeing John Cena getting his own, going to series no less on HBO Max is this, and it's going to be. Actually, I don't know how violent it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting. I'll have to see the movie before I tell you whether I'd be interested in seeing the show.
I think it's going to be awesome. I like John Cena, I really do. I used to did not like him. But something happened and I was like, yeah, this guy's all right. But, you know, of all the damn you.
Smurf me!
All the ads that I have seen when I don't even know this was actually political or what, but he did this commercial where he's walking through this small town talking about how good it is about being American and what Americans should be. And I was like, dear Lord, this is a fantastic, great ad campaign, but I don't know what, it's not for president or anybody. It was really good. I was like, dude, I would vote for you to be president. Like, you literally, like,
John
I
Cena
love this
sucks.
commercial.
John Cena sucks. Anyway, that was the John Cena serenade the WWE fans had for him for 10 years.
But you know what, though? If he did run for president and he gets up there and starts doing a speech and everybody starts doing that, that would be like funny, just like, that'd be the whole...
John Cena could not be president. He can't.
He'd get up
He'd
there
be
and
vice president. He'd be vice president because The Rock's already threatening to run in 2024.
Yeah, I would actually
I would consider voting for The Rock in 2024 if John Cena is his running mate. That would be, or Steve Austin. Steve Austin as his running mate would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I would. So yeah,
John Cena would have to be in charge of like school lunches or something, but he'd be in charge of milk money anyway.